So I want to tell you about the best trade I ever made, and then what I did immediately after, which was maybe the dumbest thing I'd ever done as an investor. During an FOMC meeting, I made $12,000 in a matter of seconds. Then I gave $6,000 of it back before the market even closed. Same day. Last episode I talked about the dartboard era, buying stocks we liked, chasing tips, and the $100 pump and dump that finally woke me up. But what happened next was its own kind of education. Just a quick reminder, I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing here is financial advice. This is just my story. When the pandemic hit, I found a community online, a group of traders doing what's called 0 days to expiration option trading, 0 DTE specifically, and it was on SPY, the S&P 500 ETF. These are options contracts that expire the same day you buy them. Now the appeal was obvious. You didn't have to wait weeks for a trade to play out. Everything happened on the same day. Big moves. I jumped in, and on my first few trades, I got lucky. Here's the thing though. When you get lucky early in options trading, your brain doesn't say, wow, I got lucky. It says, I got a gift for this. And that is the most dangerous thought you can ever have. So I did what anyone on a hot streak does. I put in more money, I bet on bigger positions, and I opened more contracts. A few months in, it was actually working. Not perfectly, there were rough days, but the wins, they felt bigger than the losses. Then came the FOMC meeting. For anyone who doesn't know, the Federal Open Market Committee meets several times a year to set interest rates. When they make their announcement, the market moves, sometimes pretty violently. Our community had a trade for this. We called it a strangle. You buy a call and a put at the same time. Basically, you're betting on movement in either direction. The idea is this: it doesn't matter if the SPY moves up or down, as long as it moves big. You cut out the losing side and you ride the winning side. The first time we ran it, the trade worked perfectly. SPY made a big move, I cut the loser quick, and the winning side kept going. I was up $12,000. Sitting there on the screen like, did that just happen? And then I didn't stop. That's the part I want you to really hear, okay? I was on such a high that my judgment completely left the room. I kept trading, bad trade after bad trade the same day, chasing that feeling. By the end of the day, I'd given back $6,000. That endorphin rush that you get from winning that big is like nothing else. And I say that not to brag. I say that because it's exactly what makes this kind of trading so dangerous. It hits the same part of your brain as gambling. I was addicted to the feeling. Then the next FOMC came around. Same community, same setup, same strangle. We were ready. What could go wrong, right? SPY barely moved. And when that happens with a strangle, both sides of the trade get crushed by something called volatility collapse. The uncertainty that made these options valuable, it just evaporates the moment the announcement hits. Both contracts tanked almost instantly, and most of us in the group were wiped out. I know I was. After that second FOMC meeting, I had a real conversation with myself, because what I'd figured out, and this took longer than it should have, is that to actually be good at 0 DTE trading, you have to watch charts all day long, not occasionally, all day long. Fixed levels, sector rotation, competing stocks, macro events, it's like a full-time job. And even the professionals that do it full-time, they get it wrong quite a bit of the time. Here's the thing. I had a full-time job. I had a life outside of trading. I could not be glued to a screen all day, analyzing every tick on SPY. And when I wasn't watching, I was just guessing, which, if we're being honest, is just gambling with extra steps. The communities that sell this lifestyle, this trade from anywhere, quit your 9-to-5 financial freedom pitch, they leave that part out. Convenient. I walked away from 0 DTE options trading, and it was the right call. Walking away didn't mean I was done making mistakes though. Not even close. After I quit 0 DTE trading, I went back to stocks for a while. I figured options were just too volatile and too emotional. And for a stretch, I was fine. But eventually I got pulled back in. This time though, it was different strategy. Selling puts. There were a handful of YouTube creators who were very enthusiastic about how you could basically become a millionaire selling puts on stocks like SoFi and Robinhood. I made $15,000 using that approach. And then I got assigned 1,000 shares of SoFi and had to make the most important decision I'd made up to that point. That's next. If any of this sounds familiar, if you've ever made a great trade and then immediately given it back chasing a high, drop a comment. I promise you're not alone in that. See you soon.